Cameras turned off, the campaign has died, but the work we started, it never subsided. From the desert floor to the mountain height, we're shining the torch, we're bringing the light. 17 counties under one big sky. We're watching the records, we're asking them why. Oh, W4Nevada, the people's own desk, putting the truth to the ultimate test. For the school boards, the cities, the local town hall, we're showing up, brother, we're answering the call. From the receipts to the findings, we lay it all down. Accountability in every Nevada town. If the shadows are growing and you need some sun, bring it to us, now the healing's begun. Speak plainly, speak loud, let the truth be heard. We're keeping our promise, we're keeping our word. W4Nevada.com, you know where to go. Call or text that number, let the power flow. 702-381-4295. Nevada for Nevadans, we're still alive.
Power back to the people. I'm telling you, every day.
Power back to the people.
Hey, 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 hey. Get your roller skates out. Because when this oohs and ahs go, I'm telling you, we're back. We're back. We go live at 1:15. Got about 10 minutes. Ooh. Feeling it? I do. Just call me Bobby Boucher. Nevada's Bobby Boucher. Boom. Welcome back to W4Nevada Live's Day 8, continuing coverage of Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. You've been watching this morning. I put out our notes. We've got everything on board, and we're just waiting for court to come back into session. It is 1:06 p.m. In the midst and interim of this, I've written an article. We're following and tracking a story from Walker Bates and Conservancy, and how it came to not be about conservancy? I don't know. We'll figure this out. Anyways, the story is unfolding. There's a continuing investigation into Perry & Sons Farm, J.D. Rye Ranch, Walker Basin Conservancy, the original Ritter Ranch, and what it wanted done with the property and the water rights. So there's some things going on there, but let's get back to Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. That's what we're here for. Today is day 8 trial coverage. Pretty insane. Right now, we've exposed another layer in the central question that Nevada says the administrative and judicial machinery kept producing possible avenues. Phase 2 judicial review, renewed map submissions, senior right analysis, and later county proceedings. CSI says those avenues explain why the paperwork survived, but not why the development survived. So the question going into the afternoon becomes, does continuing to fight a property right prove that that right was never taken? Or does it show how long the owner fought to recover a use it says government action had already destroyed? I suppose that's the question for today we'll be following up with. So we've got the case up, ready to go. I'm sitting back with my second cup of coffee. There you go. And make sure to share this out, comment, let everybody know that their water and their money, if they happen to win this case, is at risk. I'm Matt Winterhawk. This is W4Nevada Live. We are on Day 8 coverage of Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. Thank you for tuning in. Well, while we're waiting here for the court to come back up, I'm gonna put on a little music. It's kind of weird sitting on dead air.
I left my shoes by the door, went out with a folded heart. You said wait for me a while, but the night split us apart. Your name on my tongue still tastes like rain on a paper note. I keep it tucked in my chest, where the quiet learns to flow. And I keep reaching through the dark. I keep hearing that runaway spark across the universe. I still feel you first. Across the universe, you ease the hurt. Oh, you ease the hurt. Across the universe, my heart rehearses. Across the universe, I'm yours, I'm yours.
I'm researching water rights in the background. If you want to see what's going on here, we'll pull it up for you so you can see what I'm doing.
Same old room, same old chair, still I call your name in vain. My hands are steady and cold, but they shake when the phone stays still. I try to sing like I'm holding, the ache comes back to feel. And I keep reaching through the dark. I keep hearing that runaway spark across the universe. I still feel you first. Across the universe, you ease the hurt.
You wanna?
Ease the hurt. Across the universe, my heart
Look at it.
rehearses.
That is exactly the problem.
I'm yours, I'm yours.
Hold on. I gotta kill this music. All right, look at how the priority date is November 25th, 1959. Okay? That's the priority date for JD Rye Ranch to be able to utilize this water. This paperwork was filed, acting state engineer, March 2026. Acting state engineer. Funny how that came about while we had no state engineer. This is what I'm researching, this JD Rye Ranch, 1959. I wrote the article already, so I want you to go over. If you want to, you can go to W4Nevada and you can hit news, and then there'll be this thing called the Ritter Ranch Files, which that's the article is popping out today in the background working on while covering this trial, which, by the way, trial's back on. So check out W4Nevada, the Civic Newsroom, if you like to know more about that news story. Have a great day. We're going to be right here in the background.
At least theirs.
Just let me know if you want to put the sticky mention.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do
So we
that.
don't- Yeah, like find that list. This is what I want.
Yeah, that's what I just, that's what you sent me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then. one
Yeah,
of
that
the-
was, yeah. I think one of them was already. Yeah. I don't think. We're doubling, tripling.
That's just me.
Oh, okay,
You admit it.
we'll go with that, okay.
Then I'll get your response before my application. So we're good. Okay.
Fine. The motions are part of the topic.
All right. Get a second.
Good afternoon, please be seated. The back of the record, the witness has retaken the stand and you may resume.
Again, Your Honor, just as a brief housekeeping matter, council and I have agreed on a stipulation of the number of exhibits. I'd like to put them onto the record, please.
Okay,
These that follow will be CSI's proposed exhibits. 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 36, 37, 38, 40, 246, 247, 251, 252, 253, 255, 256, 257, 266, and 273.
Your Honor, we stipulate to those.
State's
Right.
proposed exhibits.
hold on just a second.
Yes, sir.
They're admitted.
You ready, Your Honor?
Yes, no.
State's proposed exhibits 3367,
Say
3952,
that again.
3367, 3952, 3953, 3954, 3955, 3956, 3957, 3958, 3959, 3960, 3961, 3962, 3963, 3964, 3965, and 3966.
We stipulate to those as well, Your Honor.
All right, they're admitted.
Brennan, but can I return, please, briefly to State's admitted exhibit 3805? We had previously looked at this. This is the petition for judicial review of the Clark County Board of Commissioners, ultimately seeking a review of the commissioners, essentially granting of the appeal made by SNWA. Do you recall that from having the document earlier?
Yes, I know this document.
And is it fair to say, Ms. Cargill, I know that your name is on the caption, but that the information contained therein was true and accurate when it was filed?
Again, as I've mentioned before, I would have read it and I would have gone over it with Mr. Robinson and Ms. Winston, and I would have deferred to their inclusion of what was ultimately in the filed version.
But factually, from your perspective, did you understand that the allegations or arguments made therein were true and accurate from your perspective as COO and General Counsel?
Objection foundation.
Sustained.
Brendan, can I have volume 4 of Ms. Cargill's deposition? And beginning at page 98 through 25, 99, 1 through 4. I approach with Sharon.
Yes.
Remember those numbers, Ms. Cargill?
Page 98. That's all I remember is page 98.
98. 98. Just 1 second there. Yeah. 5, 2, 4.
Ready, Mark? Council?
Yes, we're ready.
The information in here is true and accurate, at least as to the best of your recollection, having been council record in that matter.
Yes, the information in here is to the best of my recollection, true and accurate.
I don't think we picked up 98, 16 through 25, just to round out. So 16 through 25 at 98, 1 through 4 at 99. So there's context to the question.
It's the documents we've been talking about, that the additional or the initial approval and then the appeal by S&W or the district, and then the reversal by Clark County. That's what is the focus of the petition for judicial review, right? I mean, you know that because your name's on it.
I recall that is the purpose of this document, yes.
Okay, and the information in here is true and accurate, at least as to the best of your recollection, having been council record in that matter.
Yes, the information in here is to the best of my recollection, true and accurate.
Back to 3805, Brendan. Ms. Fargo, could you read into the record items number 29 and 30, please?
I'm sorry, it's on page 1.
I'm sorry, 004.
Did you say items 29 and 30?
Yes, ma'am.
29, order 1309 does not state that CSI cannot pump its senior groundwater rights. Number 30, order 1309 does not set forth which water right holders get to pump and how much water they get to pump.
And if you would turn to 007, please, Brendan, and if you would just read in 48, please.
48. Order 1309 does not state that CSI's water rights are not sufficient to support the tentative map, or that CSI is precluded from submitting the tentative map.
And 49, please.
49. To the contrary, order 1309 expressly lifted the temporary moratorium on the submission of final subdivision or other submissions concerning development and construction.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe. You may put that down, Brendan. And going back to 3808. And I think we left off with this. I think we did. This is the opening brief in support of petition for judicial review. That has your name and one of the caption counsel, correct?
This is stated to be the opening brief in support of petition for judicial review versus Clark County Board of Commissioners filed February 14, 2023.
I'd offer state's proposed exhibit 3808, please.
Quick look, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Your Honor, as part of the court's record, for that purpose, no objection.
So this is in connection with the opening brief in support of the petition for judicial review. Again, and we're in the PJR, the Clark County Board of Commissioners PGR with respect to the appeal we talked about earlier. Does that comport with your understanding of the document?
I'm just trying to follow your question.
Sure. I just want to make sure that you and I are on the same page as it relates to what this opening brief relates to, and it appears to be an opening brief in support of petition for judicial review. The caption reflects the Coyote Springs investment versus the Clark County Board of Commissioners.
Yes, that's what it's stated to be.
At page 0011, please. You could read from line 5 through line 12, please.
Order 1309 has virtually nothing to do with whether CSI has demonstrated a sustainable source of water for its 575 unit subdivision described and detailed in its application. First, Order 1309 fails to address CSI's priority and senior rights in Hydrographic Basin 210, the location of the property subject to CSI's application. Second, Order 1309 does not preclude development. It rescinded a prior moratorium on CSI's development and subdivision map applications.
And then if you would, at the same page, read from line 22 that begins the board failed, and then through line 25 that ends with map application.
The board failed to consider the inescapable fact that even if Order 1309 is valid, it has nothing to do with whether CSI has sufficient sustainable water for the 575 unit subdivision map application.
Okay, and then at 0012, read in, if you would, from line 6 through the end of line 9, ending basin by basin water management duties.
A more clear example of an arbitrary political decision cannot be described. The board's decision is glaringly contrary to the applicable evidence and violates established rules of law that govern the state engineer's basin by basin water management duties.
Okay, and at 0013, if you would read in from 10 through 18, beginning with Order 1309.
Order 1309 does not address CSI's tentative map application. Order 1309 does not determine that CSI cannot pump 408.25 AFA of CSI's water rights. Order 1309 does not conclude that there is not 408.25 AFA that can be pumped.
Brendan, if you would turn to 0031, please. And the heading on that, it says Order 1309 does not and cannot constitute substantial evidence to support the final decision. And then if you would read into the record at line 20 through the end of that page, and then finishing on the next page in the first full sentence.
I'm just waiting, the screen's moving. I'm just waiting for it to get to a place where I can read. The board's reliance on Order 1309 is misplaced and renders the final decision arbitrary and capricious because Order 1309 does not determine how much water any of the affected water right holders may pump. Therefore, Order 1309 does not conclude that CSI cannot pump 408.25 AFA of its senior water rights. Order 1309 does not address the specific uses of water across the 7 basins. In fact, the state engineer has consistently represented that management decisions concerning who gets what water have not yet been made. See RJN Exhibit C, parenthetical, state engineer's answering brief, and parenthetical 18. Parenthetical order 1309 also did not impose a specific policy for regulating the amount of pumping in the LWRFS going forward.
And then go ahead and finish the paragraph, please.
It's not on my screen, sorry. As the state engineer explained before the hearing, Order 1309's purpose was to establish certain essential facts, the boundaries of the LWRFS, and the amount of water that can be safely pumped. That can be foundation for future policies, and quote, and parenthetical.
As it relates to the statement at 0031 that begins at the bottom of the page, in fact. Brendan will get you there.
I already read that.
Yes, ma'am, you did. I'm just going to ask you a question about it. Where it says, in fact, the state engineer has consistently represented that management decisions concerning who gets what water have not been made from your foundation only. Is that consistent with your understanding with respect to the state engineer's representations with respect to management decisions?
I think so. I honestly, that is one of the things that council would have included. Much of this brief was I had nothing to do with drafting it.
Sure, I appreciate that. My question was different. I'm just asking from your perspective only, that you have the understanding foundationally as COO and general counsel that the state had consistently represented that management decisions concerning who gets what water had not been made. Again, just from your perspective.
Are you regarding phase 2? Is that your question? What they considered or called phase 2?
Whatever was included in here, it says the state engineer has consistently represented. Did you have some foundational understanding that the state engineer, as of the date that this petition for judicial review, had consistently represented that management decisions concerning who gets what water had not been made? And again, it's just your foundation, if you have one.
Objection, ambiguous foundation.
Sustained.
You're the COO, general counsel, and caption counsel on this document. I'm just asking foundationally, do you have an understanding as to whether or not the state engineer had consistently maintained that management decisions concerning who gets what water had not been made?
Same objection, our foundation and ambiguity.
I'll allow it.
Mr. Sylvester, it's what this sentence states, and I don't remember I can't go back in my brain to 2022, and I just can't answer that. I don't know as of 2022 what I was thinking. It's what the sentence says. I don't disagree with you.
When the sentence at 0032 reads, as the state engineer explained before the hearing, Order 1309's purpose was to establish certain essential facts, the boundaries of the LWRFS, and the amount of water that can be safely pumped, that can be the foundation or can be foundation for future purposes. Again, with the qualifications as COO, general counsel, and caption counsel, did you have an understanding that that's what the state engineer had explained in connection with the 1309, 1303 hearings?
I believe that's a quote from the a brief filed by the state engineer. I mean, I'm not gonna, I can't argue with the fact that that's what it says.
At 0034, at the bottom of the page at line 24, read that first full sentence into the record.
I'm sorry,
Yes, ma'am. At 0034, lines 24, that begins the fundamental problem, and just read that sentence into the record.
The fundamental problem with the board's final decision is that it effectively imposes curtailment and makes management decisions that the state engineer represents he has yet considered or made. It is not the board's decision to determine that CSI cannot use 408.25 AFA of its senior water rights.
Brenda, can I have Ms. Cargill's deposition, volume 4, lines at page 108, lines 12 through 17. Let's see there.
Yes, thank you.
And as we've discussed, Order 1309 does not specifically say, here's how much water everyone can pump or not pump, as the case may be.
So the answer is yes, that's a true statement.
It's a true statement.
And then at page 109, same, I'm sorry, yeah, 109, same volume, lines 5 through 10, please.
In fact, the state engineer has consistently represented that management decisions concerning who gets what water have not yet been made. And that was a true statement as of February 14th, 2023, wasn't it?
Yes, that sentence was a true statement on that date.
May I have Ms. Cargill's deposition at page 81, lines 1 through 11, please?
On volume 4.
Yes, still be blank. Yes, still, well, let me double check. That's still in volume 4, page 61, 1 through 11.
81 or
80. 6, 1.
61.
But nevertheless, from 2018 and then even past 2019, according to your timeline, CSI continues to develop the property, correct?
In order, yes, in order to preserve our water rights, in order to preserve our entitlements, in order to keep everything alive, that in part is what we had to do. We had to do that in order to attempt to continue and be ready to show beneficial use of our water when the maps were approved,
Right,
if they were approved.
your
Brenda, can I have state proposed exhibit 3H22? Now, Ms. Cargill, this is the Nevada Supreme Court decision in Sullivan versus Lincoln County. And just to orient you, recall that many parties appealed Judge Yeager's determinations of findings of fact and conclusions of law that were entered in 2022. You recall that?
Yes.
And then there was that stay for a period of time. And then this decision is published in 2024. See the top of that page where it says 2024? That was at least published on that
Oh,
date.
I see filed January 25th, 2024.
Okay. And at 30, my apologies. At 0007, flush left, there is a reference to counsel for CSI, and it includes your name. Correct?
My name is there. I didn't even know that.
I want to just turn briefly to 0015, and this is part of the Supreme Court's decision. And if you can begin at that head note 26, I believe, Brendan, on the right, where it begins, there are no policy, and read that through the end of, or at least through the sentence that ends factual issues at the administrative hearing with the footnote 14, please. You'd read that into the record.
There are no policy or management
Sorry,
issues.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No,
You're
what?
at the right spot.
Okay. There are no policy or management issues resolved in Order 1309, such that respondents needed the opportunity to be heard on those issues. No deprivation of priority property rights occurred because Order 1309 rescinded the portion of interim Order 1303 that reordered priority rights. Additionally, there was no loss of flow to any respondent as a result of Order 1309, much less the quote possible outcome, end quote, of curtailment, because the findings of the state engineer were purely factual. The Order 1309 hearing resulted in factual findings as to the boundaries of the LWRFS and the maximum amount of water that could be pumped. And the state engineer did not consider capping or curtailing any individual user as a result of the hearing. Further, the record is clear that all respondents, including Cane Springs Valley respondents, were able to provide meaningful input on the factual issues at the administrative hearing. Footnote 14.
Okay, and then a little further down, if you just read into the record, the balance of the paragraph that begins, any findings?
I'm just waiting to,
Last sentence, paragraph.
thank you. Any findings regarding the maximum amount that can be pumped from the LWRFS were not contemplated for the actual management of individual users and were instead made for future proceedings, footnote 15.
When you read that, did you have some understanding as what the Supreme Court referenced with respect to future proceedings? Only if you know.
Okay, I would want to see, before I answered, I just want to see what footnote 15 was. Please.
Brandon, can you get it to the footnote?
I don't know specifically what the Supreme Court was referring to. It could, I don't know specifically. My guess, if I were to guess, would just be the whatever the state engineer is has started with phase 2 several years later.
Thank you. Ms. Cargill, have you ever heard of something referred to as a REPI proposal?
Oh, what proposal?
REPI, REPI, all caps?
Yes.
And can you explain to the court what you understand a REPI proposal to be?
In connection with Coyote Springs, I can explain what that grant proposal was.
Okay,
Is that what you're asking me to
Yes.
do? It was a proposal for a possible grant that Clark County was interested in applying for that could have acquired a easement or property interests of some sort in Coyote Springs, and that acquisition would have been made had the grant proposal even ever been submitted. That proposal could have possibly been paid for by some combination of, I can't remember if it was the Department of Defense or a specific military division. Perhaps, I think that Clark County was going to pay for a part of it, and I can't remember if there was another agency or nonprofit that they had contacted about that. And the idea was that it would facilitate military overflight concerns in the Coyote Spring Valley area. It was a grant proposal that Clark County approached Coyote Springs about.
Brendan, can I please have state's proposed exhibit 3729? And you recognize this document?
This is a document prepared by Clark County.
And what is it generally? It says a 2020 REPI full proposal form, and it's has a deadline of April 14th. And tell me if you have recalled ever seeing this document.
I have seen this document. I was not a part of drafting this document. This is the document that Clark County completed and then put on its agenda for consideration, and Coyote Springs. I submitted a letter to Ms. Henson or to Clark County, I can't remember which, that said Coyote Springs did not agree with the provisions that were in the proposal that they were submitting.
Okay. Did you understand that the proposal, if it had been offered and accepted, would allow the government to acquire land and water rights of CSIs?
Yes, and that is in part why we objected to it, because it didn't comport with our conversations with Clark County.
But the amount, the total anticipated cost would have been, looks like in the bottom right, $35 million. Does that comport with your understanding of the document?
Your Honor, I would just object to the use of the document until it's been demonstrated that this particular witness has a foundation to either have it admitted as a business record or a public record. I don't think they're either, at least in terms of what's been laid at foundation. We shouldn't be reading the document if it has not been admitted in evidence.
Well, in the foundation, the document, you can take it down for a second, Brendan. That full proposal that we were looking at, is that a document that you received and reviewed when it was issued?
It's a document that if it's the same document that I downloaded when the Clark County agenda was posted, then that's how I would have received a copy of it. It wasn't a document emailed to me, I don't believe.
It was a document essentially directed to or concerning CSI, agreed?
I saw the document when it was posted on an agenda for either a zoning commission meeting or a board of county commission meeting. And so it concerned Coyote Springs and I downloaded it. If it's, assuming it's the same document that I downloaded.
But we talked about the $35 million, it included land and water, and I understood your testimony to be that that was unacceptable. Is that what you said?
We hadn't talked about the $35 million. You had just mentioned the land and the water, I think. And that's what I said was unacceptable, I think.
Did you receive a copy of the REPI proposal for suggesting $35 million?
Not, we did not see any dollar amounts until it was posted on the county's website. And Coyote Springs had, I believe, been clear in telling Clark County that we were not interested in allowing the acquisition of any of our water rights.
Brenda, can I have Miss Cargill's deposition, please, at 128, lines 21 through 25, and then 129, lines 1 through 25.
Volume, yes. What volume?
You still have four? You still have four, Miss Cargill?
Yes, I have 12 right here.
So let me do the numbers again so we can catch up. Volume for 128, 21 through 25, 129, 1 through 25, 130, 1 through 13, please.
You have in front of you now, something that is styled 2020 REPI Challenge Full Proposal Form. Do you recognize the document?
Yes, I recognize this document.
Can you know what a REPI Challenge Full Proposal Form is or what it relates to?
More or less, yes.
What do you understand? What's your understanding?
REPI is a Department of Defense program that stands for something along the lines of real estate, environmental something initiative, property real estate, property initiative, or something like that. And it's a Department of Defense program that comes out every so often. I don't remember, I believe there was a periodic basis. It's not an annual thing is my recollection. It's been a while since I looked it up. And it's a Department of Defense opportunity for grants. And every time they open a grant period up, they make it available for different types of land use acquisitions, whether it's easements or in fee purchases of one sort or another, in order that those acquisitions will facilitate military installations.
Okay. And this is an offer then made by the Clark County is making the offer in cooperation with the military?
It was not an offer, there was a grant. Mm-hmm. This was a grant form that Clark County was submitting to the Department of Defense, that had it submitted, the Department of Defense would have then considered and accepted, rejected, or whatever the Department of Defense. I don't know what the Department of Defense options are on this sort of thing.
Okay, but did you understand that to the extent that it was submitted to the Department of Defense and accepted that they would have acquired the property and the water rights for $35 million?
I don't know that. Well, I mean, that is what, I don't remember if it was $35 million. I don't remember what the dollar amount was right now. Okay, I see, it says $35 million. I see that on the document.
Okay.
Yeah, just maybe just make an objection, renew my objection. I was waiting just to see if there was foundation for the admission of a hearsay for that purpose. So I object to the extent that it's being read into the record or being presented to the witness without there being a foundation for this record. I'm not objecting to the record coming in if it can be foundationally established through this witness that she has the foundation to admit it. I don't think it's happened yet, Your Honor.
Well, Your Honor, it's at a minimum an effect on the listener. She's just identified the exact same document, the 2020 metallic proposal form with the terms and conditions of $35 million that she said in her deposition she recognized. And so I don't need to offer it for the purpose of the matter asserted, but the effect on the listener who says she reviewed it and they rejected it.
All right, overruled.
Your Honor, so just the objection overruled because this is just going to be a document used for purposes of what effect it had on the listener.
Right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. You considered the proposal to be a potential buyer at $35 million. Would you agree with that?
I'm sorry, what?
Sure. The REPI proposal, you considered the proposal to be a potential buyer at 35 million.
Mr. Sylvester, for some reason, what do you mean I considered the proposal to be a potential buyer? I don't I'm not grammatically following your sentence.
Brenda, would you just read in or play Miss Cargill's transcript at 136? And then it is line 14 through 24, please.
1 second, please, just 1 second. And this is still volume 4?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
At least we know that the offer for $35 million, including the water and the real property, had a combined value from their perspective of $35 million.
I understand that's what this said, and Mr. Sino, the Mr. Sinos rejected that.
Right, but it had at least a potential buyer for $35 million from both in 2020.
I suppose you could say that, but I mean, this was a proposal to be submitted to the Department of Defense.
Brenda, may I have state proposed exhibit 3730?
Your Honor, before we move on, I just would ask that the remainder of her answer be played in the under the rule of completeness. If counsel is going to offer the document for purposes of a party admission or other purposes, I think that her answer should not be cut off midstream. It was cut off midstream after line 24. She continued that answer, Your Honor. For the purpose of the record, I'd ask that either be admitted into the record or played here in court.
I don't have any, I mean, I don't think it's appropriate. It's not a rule of completeness from a designation standpoint. It's a statement made by a party. I can use for any purpose, but I will be happy to let him read the balance of that or play the balance of that into the record.
Thank you. Thank you, counsel. Is that okay, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ms. Cargill was asked, right, but it had at least a potential buyer for 35 million from both in 2020. The answer at line 22 then that was played was, I suppose you could say that, but I mean, this was a proposal to be submitted to the Department of Defense. That's where it ended. And then I'd like to pick up the remainder of her answer, which is starting on line 25. Quote, had Clark County agreed that Ms. Henson could submit this proposal, there was no guarantee that the Department of Defense would approve it and it would go anywhere. Close quote. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, counsel.
If I may have state's proposed exhibit 3731. I'm sorry, Brandon, can I have proposed exhibit 3730? And this is your email of April 15th, 2020, directed to Marcy Henson. And you can go to the second page and see it signed by you.
Yes, I see that.
And this is essentially a response to Ms. Henson relating to the REPI grant application. Is that accurate, at least as it relates to the first paragraph?
Yes, it is.
In the second paragraph, if you would read into the record, that sentence that begins, we decline based on, and then all the way through the balance of that sentence, please.
We decline based on significant disagreement with many of Clark County's proposed components of the REPI grant application, including without limitation, valuation and price, scope of land to be included, inclusion of water rights, disregard of the CS entities' current valid existing entitlement and development rights, disregard for the CS entities' valid existing 40-year development agreement, specific plan, improvement plans, and associated bonds, permits for operation, disregard for the current operating Jack Nicklaus Signature Golf Course and Clubhouse and Bar and Grill, disregard for the massive 2+ mile off-site detention basin constructed and completed by the CS entities, in addition to other significant development and construction expenses related to utility infrastructure, water supply system, and well infrastructure, blatant disregard for the multi-million-dollar recently completed and operational groundwater treatment facilities and wastewater treatment facility, inclusion of anything related to the Lincoln County portion of Coyote Springs, and inaccurate statements by Clark County regarding water rights. This list is not intended to be all-inclusive.
Okay, and the next paragraph, if you will, please.
The CS entities are gravely concerned that the involved government entities, including the state engineer, the Las Vegas Valley Water District, the SNWA, and Clark County, have and continue to individually and collectively take actions in bad faith to stop the CS entities from continued development of Coyote Springs. Such government actions have been aimed at stopping development, driving down the fair market value of Coyote Springs, and forcing an unreasonable, wrongful, and unlawful, quote, take, end quote, of CS entities' property rights. Such actions are in violation of the Nevada and United States Constitution and a long history of cases protecting landowners' property rights from wrongful government taking actions.
Did you then, this is your correspondence, did you form the understanding as it sets forth in the first full sentence that the government entities, including the state engineer, Las Vegas Valley Water District, and SNWA in Clark County, have and continue individually and collectively to take actions in bad faith to stop the CS entities? Was that your belief at the time you filed it or sent it?
That was my belief at the time that it was sent. Council had been retained by this point and would have been a part of drafting this.
I offer state's proposed exhibit 3730.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mrs.
Do you still maintain that position, Ms. Cargill, that Clark County state engineer, Las Vegas Valley Water District, and SNWA collectively are taking actions to stop the CS entities from building their subdivision?
It all starts with the state engineer, and the others all look to the state engineer and cite 1309 or the Sullivan decision, or whichever the time frame is.
And do you think they're all acting collectively as set forth in your 2020 correspondence, to the best of your knowledge and understanding?
No, I don't believe that's what my correspondence is getting to. I think no.
Okay. May I offer, I'm sorry, Brennan, may I have proposed exhibit 3731? And this apparently is Miss Henson's response to you. Do you recognize the document?
Yes, I do.
And she took issue with your correspondence. Is that a fair characterization of her letter back to you?
Yes, it is.
You just read the last two sentences into the record.
Now that you have finally been truthful that the Coyote Springs entities never intended to be willing sellers, I will make sure that the draft REPI grant proposal does not move forward as I indicated in my April 15, 2020 email response to you. I just wish you would have been upfront with me when I first reached out to you back in January or during our subsequent conversations. It would have saved my staff and me so much wasted time.
I offer state's proposed exhibit 3731, please.
No objection, Your Honor.
Admitted.
Brenda, may I have proposed exhibit 3732? And this is your response, as I understand it, to Ms. Henson's letter we just looked at. Is it accurate? Just to orient you in time, the letter we just looked at was April 16, 2020.
Thank you. Yes, that orients me.
And if you would read into the record the second full paragraph, please.
Had Clark County been forthright in both its actions and efforts to acquire the Coyote Springs property at a valuation far below fair market value, the CS entities would have immediately declined to participate in Clark County's REPI grant application. Once Clark County disclosed the proposed economics of the sought-after acquisition of the Coyote Springs property to the CS entities, it was considered by the CS entities principals, and we immediately declined to participate in the REPI application process. We now better understand why the involved governmental agencies have collectively worked to wrongfully delay and interfere with Coyote Springs' continuing development efforts at its master plan community. We believe such actions are unreasonable and oppressive and aimed at driving down Coyote Springs property values with an end goal of forcing an unlawful and wrongful quote take end quote of Coyote Springs.
You indicated in the first sentence that, in your opinion, when I say your CSI's opinion, the REPI grant proposal was far below fair market value. Is that what CSI understood at the time?
That's what it says, yes.
In fact, when you were speaking to Ms. Henson, you told her that CSI needed to receive fair market value. You recall that?
That sounds correct. I don't recall specifically, but I very well could have told her that.
This is as of April of 2020. So the May 16, 2018 letter is rescinded. And 1303, the proceedings have gone forward, right? And as of that date, is it true that CSI believed the fair market value was greater than the $35 million grant proposal?
That is what this letter says, yes.
Do you recall what you told Ms. Henson, that in your opinion, the grant proposal would including both investment and fair market value?
I do not recall what I told Ms. Henson, no. If I sent it to her in an email or something, it would refresh my memory. I don't remember right now, Mr. Sylvester.
Brenda, can I have Ms. Cargill's deposition at page 130, lines 15 through 25, and lines 131. One through five, please.
Volume 4.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is why Coyote Springs challenged it and I told Ms. Henson at Clark County that we would not support it because all along our message to Ms. Henson for Clark County, Coyote Springs' message was we would be willing to discuss something with the Department of Defense if it were based on fair market values and based on the investment that Coyote Springs and its owners had in the property at that time. I was extremely clear with Clark County on that point.
What was that number then?
It was well in excess of $150 million, probably in excess of $200 million at the time.
At the time, was that something that the CSI would have accepted $200 million for?
It would have been up to Mr. Sino.
I understand.
You ever offered to sell? Oh, we'll get to that. Sorry. Withdraw the question. Yeah.
3732.
Offer proposed exhibit 3732.
No objection, Your Honor.
Submitted.
You ever counter that REPI proposal or grant?
I don't recall having a continued conversation. I don't remember right now, Mr. Sylvester. That doesn't sound familiar, but I don't recall.
Can I have Brendan exhibit 3538? And tell me when you get a minute to review that document and tell me if you can identify it.
No,
No?
I see that it was produced by CSI. I don't know what it is.
Had you ever heard anything about a potential swap of land by between Coyote Springs and the Concord Naval Weapons Station?
Yes, many, many years ago.
And tell me what you recall of that proposed swap.
You've about summed it up. The Mr. Sino, Albert Sino Jr. was interested in that possibility. This was, I believe Mr. Whittemore was still a manager at Coyote Springs at the time. And the Concord Naval Weapons Station is literally in Mr. Sino Jr.'s backyard. You can see it from his office. And it was in the process of being whatever it is the military does when it then takes a piece of property and it gives it to a local agency or it decides to sell it, whatever that particular process is. I can't think of the correct name for it. And there was a conversation with Nellis. I think we approached Nellis. I think that was the way it went. We first approached Nellis Air Force Base and the base commander and had that discussion. Ultimately, that never went anywhere.
You've never seen this document before?
I've seen so many documents, Mr. Sylvester. This document does not look familiar to me. It doesn't mean that I haven't seen it before. At this moment, it does not look familiar to me, and it doesn't have my footer on it. So I can't tell you that I typed it or not. I don't know.
Okay. CSI ever pursue the sale of a navigation easement to Nellis Air Force Base?
That I don't remember. I don't remember that conversation in particular. Could it have happened? Perhaps.
Do you know from CSI perspective, who would have been negotiating, if that's the right word, with the Concord Naval Weapons Station?
I don't know whether or not Mr. Sino ever separately approached the Department of Defense or had anyone approach the Department of Defense to the Concord Naval Weapons Station side first. I know that I was a part of meetings, as was Mr. Sino, as was Mr. Whittemore, with the base commander at Nellis Air Force Base. I was never a part of anything that was a direct to the Concord Naval Weapons Station.
Are you suggesting that Mr. Whittemore was interested in swapping the CSI land for the Concord Naval Station land? Is that your best recollection?
My recollection is that before Mr. Whittemore left, that was a part of a conversation that was had. And he, as I said, he may have even been a part of a meeting with the base commander. Over the years, we went to Nellis Air Force Base and we would meet with the base commander. And sitting right here right now, I have a recollection that Mr. Whittemore was involved in one of the pre-2010 discussions.
You said over the years, you had one or more meetings with the Naval Base Commander in Concord?
No. I apologize if I said that. I meant with the Nellis Air Force base commander. I've never met with anyone related to Concord, in Concord related to the Naval Weapons Station at all.
Okay, so I guess my question was, the start of the conversation about potential sale of navigation easement, and that's what you're responding to?
And I said to Nellis, I don't recall a conversation about selling a navigation or a navigation easement to Nellis Air Force Base related to Coyote Springs. I just, right here, right now, I don't recall that.
Brandy, can I have state's proposed exhibit 3738? And take a moment to review that document and tell me when you're finished.
This is a document entitled Confidential. It's a memo from me to Mr. Sino, dated May 21st, 2020.
It's not titled confidential, it's titled memorandum. There's a confidential stamp at the bottom. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes,
And this is a document that you and I went over during the course of your deposition.
I do not remember that, Mr. Sylvester.
Let's see if we can't refresh your recollection. I'd offer proposed exhibit 3738.
No objection.
Admitted.
I'll take a moment to look at that, and if you need to thumb through the letter itself so that you're familiar with it and we can discuss it.
May I see the next page, please? And the next page? 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 That's it, okay, thank you.
That refresh your recollection of the memorandum as you drafted it back in May of 2020?
Yes,
In the third full paragraph, it says, as seen on the attached map, Coyote Springs is in the direct line from Nellis to the NTTR and air corridor about Coyote Springs is called the Sally Corridor. You know what a Sally Corridor is?
it's the name that the air military has given to the in-flight and out-flight corridor in and out of the Nevada Test and Training Range.
Okay. We turn to 3738, I'm sorry, 0010. And this is a map. It says Coyote Springs Master Plan Community Vicinity Map. And do you know where you received that map? Or
Yes.
obtained a copy of that map?
Yes, I do.
And where'd you get it?
My employee Todd Cluxtall created that map. It is not a perfect representation. It is a generalized representation.
So the flight path or in the Sally corridor goes over the overflights, if you will, of the master plan community in both Lincoln and Clark County. Is that an accurate depiction?
It's a generally accurate depiction. I mean, the corridor is much wider than what is shown on this. This is a very basic depiction of that.
Okay. In the next sentence, it says, according to Federal Aviation Administration rules for occupied areas, planes in a military operations area are not allowed to fly any lower than 400 feet. And furthermore, under Nevada law, CSI owns the airspace up to 200 feet from ground level. However, these rules are ignored. And then you go on to say, and if you would just read it from jets and helicopters.
Jets and helicopters fly overhead, and employees have many sightings of planes and helicopters hugging the ground and tipping wings in greeting, and just generally looking around the CSI private property.
And keep going, please. Just read to the balance or to the end of the paragraph.
On the Lincoln County side of Coyote Springs, about 2/3 of the way north through CSI's property, jets can exceed the sound barrier and we experience sonic booms. This is only supposed to happen at a minimum of 1,000 feet above ground level and past the sound barrier quote line end quote. However, from personal experience, I can say that it is not unusual to hear a sonic boom and experience it, have the phones and internet cut out and the entire building shake and feel the sonic boom throughout my body.
And you're out there, well, at least you were, during the time of your deposition, 5 or 6 days a week.
That is correct.
Um,
Right now, I'm here with you.
For 5 or 6 days a week.
Yes.
It seems, okay. Is that Sally corridor still approximately located as depicted in the map?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up in quite a while. The Sally corridor is whatever it is. That's set by the Department of Defense or Nellis,
From your knowledge, it hasn't changed.
correct?
Now, I'm gonna ask you a question you may have no foundation for. Don't if you don't. In the context of the purchase and sale of residential homes, do you know if that fact that the property essentially built and sold to homeowners would be a disclosure item that the seller would have to make?
Objection calls for legal conclusion, foundation.
I just asked if you knew. I just asked if you knew. I mean, if you do, you don't. You represent home builders, right? You represent Mr. Sino, and in this case, he wants to be a home builder. I just want to know foundationally, do you know one way or the other, whether that's a disclosure item in a sale of a residential property?
There's an navigation easement in Clark County on our title report that refers, we'd have to pull the title report, Mr. Sylvester, which I'm sure is in one of our many produced documents. There's an navigation easement on all of the Clark County property, but not the Lincoln County property. On the Clark County side, that my recollection is refers specifically to Nellis Air Force Base.
Okay.
I don't remember the precise language, but there is in the title report.
Okay. And the next paragraph, it says, every Nellis-based commander that I've spoken to has acknowledged that although Coyote Springs Master Plan Community went through the entitlement process and has full entitlement approvals for the development of 43,000 acres, 2 separate county development agreements and related plans, and approvals to build 159,000 residential units in development over 9,000 acres of non-residential property, that each of them wished Coyote Springs Master Plan Community was not there at all. And how did you form that understanding or impression?
I have had base commanders and various wing commanders at Nellis Air Force Base tell me that to my face.
Okay. But you are describing essentially the master plan community comprised of the units that are entitled and subject to those development agreements over 43,000 acres.
It says that, yes, it's
Okay.
what it says.
The next sentence is how we would go away was various concepts. The Department of Defense would buy Coyote Springs. We could trade Coyote Springs for like value property otherwise owned by the Department of Interior. We could trade Coyote Springs for like value property owned by some other branch of the military that was being disposed of in a BRAC or similar process. The bottom line was simply Coyote Springs should go away. Did you pursue a purchase or sale with Nellis Air Force Base?
As I think the next paragraph of the following paragraph describes, Nellis Air Force Base worked with the Secretary of the Air Force at the time, and they pursued getting an appraisal in order that they could make a determination if they wanted to purchase some sort of navigation easement or come up with a value to be able to engage in some sort of, whether it was Concord Naval Weapons Station or some other property. Ultimately, Nellis never went forward with that. And that was some years before this memo was written. We'd have to, I think the memo refers to something of 2016.
Well, I'm looking at your memo dated May of 20.
I understand that. Look at the next paragraph. That's what I'm suggesting, Mr. Sylvester. Says Coyote Springs agreed to participate. And it refers to the appraisal that's who it was. The General Services Administration did, and it was complete in fall of 2016, but it was never disclosed to us. We never saw it.
Did you ever pursue it after 2016 or after May of 2020?
We never pursued it after the base commander told us they were not going, whoever it was at the time, I don't remember, said he had not even seen the appraisal and they were not going to be having further discussions about it.
For what purpose are you writing this memo in May of 2020?
I don't remember. Mr. Sino must have asked me to do it. I wouldn't have just done it. He probably wanted a history of something for some reason. I don't have any idea.
In the last full paragraph where it begins residential development. If you can read that sentence through the end, please.
You want me to start with Coyote Springs is ready for development?
Residential development is next.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Residential development is next. CSI is waiting on the Nevada State Engineer to complete his review and issue a ruling following a 2-week hearing from September 2019 regarding use of water within the state engineer's newly designated 6-basin groundwater flow, quote, super basin, end quote, in which the state engineer resorts the historic legislatively and statutorily mandated water right ownership priority, which may ultimately be challenged by CSI or other affected water rights holders. However, given Coyote Springs' location being just across the hill from Las Vegas, the lack of neighbors and open space will be a marketing and development boon to post-COVID-19 homebuyers desiring more space, the great outdoors, and easy access to trails and wilderness in which to live and recreate.
And if we look at the pictures starting at 003. And what does that picture depict? And by the way, is this something you took at the time?
No, these are all pictures that various of my employees have taken, and they show various planes or helicopters overflight over Coyote Springs.
And 004?
Same thing, you can see the helicopter, that's they're standing, that's at well 1 right there, so they're looking north right off of SR 168.
And 005?
That's somewhere over the Coyote Springs property. I'm not exactly sure where it was taken from.
All of these pictures are aircraft over the Coyote Springs property. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And 007? Same thing? You see a
Yes.
Picture? 008? Same thing?
Yes, same thing.
009. Another aircraft. And then if you just look at the 012. This appears to be a depiction of the Coyote Springs. It's Coyote Springs development, but I think it's before the relocation of the donut hole. Is that accurate?
It is, and I'm not sure where I got this map or what it's depicting. If this was attached to my memo, at the moment sitting here, I don't remember where I got this map.
But in any event, theoretically, to the extent that homes were built there, those homeowners would be experiencing that overflight within that Sally corridor. Is that your understanding?
Yes, although then the planes have to fly higher once there are residential homes there. I think my memo addressed that, and that's my recollection also.
But they would still, they hear those sonic booms as you do.
Objection, foundation, sustained.
How often do you hear those sonic booms a week? 2 or 3 times?
Oh, no, just during their various, like red flag exercises or things that are noticed in the newspapers.
Want to orient you again, and we'll change topics to discussing the various pipeline options that we had discussed earlier. Remember the pipeline proposal that, backing up even further, that SWA had entered into a capacity agreement with essentially CSI and others to share water in that pipeline.
We're talking about Southern Water Authority's groundwater pipeline.
That's right.
Okay.
And then if we looked at the March 17th, 2018, for PowerPoint presentation where Mr. Walsh set forth various pipeline options. Do you recall that?
Yes, that was completely different than SNWA's groundwater pipeline.
Don't disagree. And then you saw another pipeline proposal, I believe in the November 16th, 2018 timeframe.
What year did you just say?
2018, that
Oh.
was the
Yes, I agree. I just didn't hear what year you said.
November 16th, I think is when you saw the PowerPoint presentation, or in that November 2018 timeframe.
I would agree with that date.
And then you inserted in one of your prior answers, well, we followed up on that pipeline and they said, never mind, or something like that. Do you recall that generally?
Yes.
I can have state's proposed exhibit 3761. Actually, two letters. Let's start with the second one at 003, please. And this is correspondence of May 24th, 2021 from Albert Sino Jr. to John Ensminger, General Manager of Southern Nevada Water Authority. You've seen this document before?
Yes, I have.
It says it's been a little while, or been a while since we spoke. Our last communication was through my son, Albert III. I am handling all Coyote Springs matters now, along with Amelia Cargill. And then in the last, I'm sorry, the third full paragraph, if you could read that into the record.
I recently reread the presentation that you made to us on March 21, 2017 regarding a pipeline for a redundant supply of water to Coyote Springs, and also the refined version of that same topic specific to the Muddy River on November 16, 2017. I have talked with several institutional groups about financing this pipeline you presented. I can make this happen.
Okay. And do you know what Mr. Sino Jr. was referring to when he indicated that he could make the refined version of the redundant supply of water? I think it references to the Muddy River, what he was referring to.
I believe that we would have to go back and look at the November 16 proposal. I believe that there was one of the options that was presented, which referred to itself as the Muddy River option. But Mr. Sylvester, we just have to look at it
I'm gonna
to
find
know.
the March 2017. Let me tab those two. Brandon, can you bring up admitted exhibit 3534, please? Please, I'm looking. And this is the March 2017, and let's thumb through that until we get to the one that you recognize may be related to.
I don't think it's in this one. We can certainly thumb through it, but I thought that it was the other one that outlined it, but it might be this one. So one page back,
Okay.
please. It says Muddy River Alternatives. And I don't know if that's the one that we would just have to see if they further develop what that meant.
Go down, Brendan, see if you can find one style of Muddy River alternative. Is that the one there?
That does say Muddy River Alternatives, yes.
And what was the proposed cost on that one? Do you see?
I don't know that there were any costs in the March alternative. I can't recall.
What do you recall that alternative being with respect to the Muddy River alternative? From where to where?
From the Muddy River backwards through SNWA's MX5 pipeline that was constructed from MX5 to the Muddy River, that we would purchase SNWA's facilities and pipeline and acquire SNWA's rights on the Muddy River, as well as other rights that they would help facilitate that could be in that area, and then bring that water west. Basically put pump stations in and pump it from that area back to Coyote Springs. Change the treatment plant at MX5 for surface water, because apparently that's different than groundwater treatment. And then that water could be used as a redundant supply. That's my very, very simplistic view of what that was.
17 has the costs.
I think at page, is it 0017? Is this the cost estimate that we just referred to?
It could be, Mr. Sylvester. I just remember the November proposal had more specifics in it. I'm not disagreeing that this says Muddy River Alternatives total estimated cost 210 million. I just thought that the November one was more detailed. That was all.
Brendan, can I have states admitted exhibit 3550, please? Is this the one you're referring to?
Yes, it is.
We spent some time with this one on your rec. Let's see if we can get to the conclusion as to total amount. I see it 0019. Total estimated cost. Is that what you understood Mr. Sino was referring to in his May 24, 2021 letter?
Yes, this would have been, I mean, that's. Yes, class 5 cost estimate. Yes, that's what I was thinking about.
At that point in time, to the best of your knowledge, did CSI have the financial wherewithal to accomplish that Muddy River Springs alternative pipeline cost?
I know what Mr. Sino's letter says, and I think he says he had spoken to some institutional groups. I don't recall that I did or did not. I don't know that I drafted that letter for Mr. Sino. I think he drafted it or had his assistant or someone in his legal department draft it. I don't know that I drafted that letter, so I don't know what he was thinking when he drafted it.
No, I understand that. I'm just understanding. I'm going to ask if you know one way or the other whether the company or Mr. Sino as the principal of the company had the financial wherewithal beyond who drafted the letter or what Mr. Sino in his mind.
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't want to answer for Mr. Sino and his financial wherewithal.
No, I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, do you have an understanding? And you may not. That's okay too.
I don't have enough of an understanding of Mr. Sino's net worth to be able to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, I would offer proposed, states proposed 3761.
3761. Oh, that's the letter. Yes, no objection.
Brendan, state proposed 3762. And by the way, do you know why? Because we looked at that PowerPoint and that was November of 2017, and then it was roughly 3.5 years later where Mr. Sino responded, apparently, at least from this letter for the first time regarding that option. Do you know why it was that period of time expiring?
Was the presentation in 18? I thought we agreed it was in
17.
18.
We just looked at the November, well, first one, the March 2017 2017, and then you sent me to the November 2017.
Oh, I thought we had agreed it was in 18. Oh,
You get tired?
no, really have this memory that not that long ago today, you and I had this conversation. We agreed that the presentation was from 2018. So now I really don't remember. Was the presentation from 17 or 18?
Brandon, bring back up 3550, please.
'17. Okay.
So the question was, do you know why 3.5 years went by before Mr. Sino responded to that potential option?
Well, I recollect that the day after, or the day of this presentation, November 16, 2017, the water district sent a letter to the state engineer that very same day of our meeting. And it started kind of a lot of events happening.
Okay.
And I think that everyone was a little preoccupied. I don't know why Mr. Sino waited.
Do you know why he sent it? At that point in time, did CSI have the desire and intent to go forward and bring water from the Muddy River to service the master plan community?
I don't know that I ever spoke to Mr. Sino about why he sent that letter.
So a little bit different question.
Okay.
I said, as of that date, in the May 2021 time period, did you have an understanding that CSI was desirous of pursuing a source of water from the Muddy River to service its master plan community?
I'm not sure. At that point, we'd also hired counsel, and it could have been, I don't know, Mr. Sylvester. It could have been through discussions with counsel. I just don't remember right now.
So just to orient you in time, the May 16th, 2018 letter is rescinded. 1303 is also rescinded by virtue of the passage or the filing of ruling 1309 in June of 2020. Does that orient you in the timeline of events?
Objection as to the state of the record in counsel's preface to his question.
Want to rephrase?
Sure. You and I agree that the May 16th, 2018 letter was rescinded by virtue of the settlement agreement in 2017, right?
That's what the settlement agreement said.
And then we have the 1303 that is issued in January of 2019, right?
Yes.
1309 is issued June of 2020.
Yes.
And it rescinded the moratorium from 1303. We saw that from the Supreme Court decision, right?
That's what it said.
And then this is May 24th, 2021, and CSI appears to be suggesting, from my review of the letter, and I'm looking for your foundation if you have any, to obtain water from the Muddy River to service its master plan community. Does that comport with your understanding of the timeline?
You have all the items in the timeline, correct?
Okay. So I would offer proposed exhibit 3761, please.
No,
That's been admitted.
that's what you just admitted. It should have been 3755.
Proposed exhibit 3755.
It's just to correct the trial exhibit number. We accidentally admitted 3761. The document that was on the screen was actually 3755.
Yeah, let's put up 3755 so we can get to our record.
3762.
If you're seeking to admit 3755, I have no objection.
Okay, and
To
then
admit it.
That's it.
3761 in, Matthew.
It is, but it hasn't been discussed. It was in
Okay.
because we accidentally admitted it.
Okay, so we're looking at 3761. May 24th, 2021. And this is a letter from Albert Sino Jr. And that's the one that was just a minute, wasn't it, Matthew?
I don't know why that, I think he has the wrong document on the screen. 3761 is a letter from Mrs. Cargill to Greg Walsh, following up on this. Electronic exhibit is wrong. Oh, there it is. Included the letter.
Nice.
That's why.
That's confusion.
Yeah.
Try to see. We started at 3761, and Brendan, is the second page of 3761, the May 24th, 2021 email from.
Yeah,
Okay. So we had 3761. 3761003 is the letter we've been discussing from Albert Jr. to Mr. Ensminger, dated May 24th, 2021. Does that look correct to you?
Yes, that's 3761-3.
3761001 is a letter that you wrote on June 17th, 2021 to Greg Walsh.
Yes,
What was the purpose of this correspondence?
I think just what it says. Mr. Sino probably asked me to write a follow-up to Mr. Walsh.
You indicated a moment ago you didn't know what CSI's intent with respect to going forward, but in this correspondence, you're saying notwithstanding the pending petition for judicial review of Order 1309, and without waiving any rights related thereto, Mr. Sino is ready to pursue the proposed SNWA pipeline from Apex area or other reasonable alternatives to Coyote Springs in order that the development procure an alternative source of water to enable Coyote Springs and Coyote Springs investment to proceed and obtain signed final maps. This references the Apex option. Is that different than what we just looked at?
It is, there was a pipeline from Apex, the Apex area north to Coyote Springs. I believe at this time, I would have to arrange myself in time correctly, but their Southern Nevada Water Authority was having built a pipeline from its system to connect to North Las Vegas's Apex area. And that was bringing SNWA's water to the Apex area. And I believe that is what that references to.
Okay, so at least you know and understand as of June 17th, 2021, CSI intends to go forward and obtain water to support its master plan community, right?
That is what this is. That's what this says. Yes.
And do you know for what purpose it was seeking an alternative source of water at that time?
I believe that you and I have talked about that a number of times over the
Same.
past several days.
Fair enough. The redundant supply to the extent that the water from the base permit is unavailable.
Objection misstates many questions and answers on this subject previously addressed.
She can tell me.
Right.
Sure. And I don't want to get back into the idea of discussing a redundant and alternative supply of water, but prior to your, in context, inconsistent with your prior answers, at this time, they're seeking, that a CSI is seeking redundant or alternative supply of water, however you phrase it, so they can go forward with their master plan community.
Yes, taking into consideration all of the many conversations you and I have had on those topics. Yes.
And again, the rest of that sentence says Mr. Sino is ready to pursue the proposed SNWA water pipeline from the Apex area or another reasonable alternative in order that the development procure an alternate source of water to enable Coyote Springs LLC and Coyote Springs Nevada LLC and Coyote Springs Investment LLC to proceed and obtain signed final maps and submit plans to start construction of the master plan community. Now, this is after in time that 2020 denial by Steve Shell, where there was CSI's position that the project was no longer going to go forward, just from a time perspective. Do you agree with that?
From a time perspective, and it's also following the commencement of this action, yes.
Mr. Walsh responds, and we'll look at state's proposed exhibit 3762, please. And this is his response back to you in response to your correspondence. Now it's June 22nd, 2021. And he's responding to your June 17th. And he says in the middle of the sentence or middle of the paragraph, as you will recall, it was the opinion of our scientists based on Order 1169 pump test, and notably the lack of system recovery over time, that the use of groundwater sourced in Coyote Springs would not sustain Coyote Springs intended development. And that's been a recurring position since 2017, at least from the position of SNWA and LVBWD. Agreed?
Objection. Question's been previously asked and answered numerous times.
That's at this date, has never been asked.
Same objection, Your Honor. The subject's been addressed many times.
Same response, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I would say that I don't want to restate what Mr. Walsh is saying in his letter. The letter says what their position is.
Okay. It does reference the ensuing discussions in 2017 occurred because CSI had asked what alternative sources might exist. And then he goes on to say basically that the conceptual infrastructure projects discussed in 2017 cannot properly be characterized as proposals. And on the next page, he essentially says at the bottom of the paragraph, we cannot comment as your letter requests on the prospects for gaining such consent or the conditions hereunder which it might be given. And before we could even begin to frame up an agreement to design and build any of these projects, we would need to know which one CSI desires to pursue and the extent to which CSI has secured the necessary water. Your Honor, I would proffer proposed exhibit 3762.
No objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Cargill, did you ever continue or follow up with Mr. Walsh or SNWA with respect to pursuing a alternate proposal or pursuing any proposal to join a pipeline or to acquire the ability to bring water from a different location to service the master plan community?
I don't remember if Mr. Walsh and I had any further conversations in writing related to this. We may have had discussions in passing when we saw each other here or there.
But if CSI had the financial wherewithal to pursue it as set forth in Mr. Sino's correspondence, or at least the ability to pursue it with financing, do you know, have any idea why CSI didn't continue to pursue bringing that water from an alternate source from 2021 through today's date?
CSI viewed this letter exactly as it said, that the Southern Nevada Water Authority did not view any of what they had presented to us as proposals as such. We read that, it was at the bottom of the last page.
It says we would need to know which one CSI desires to pursue and the extent to which CSI secured the necessary water. It sounded like an invitation. I'm just wondering if you ever followed up with Mr. Walsh that you can recall where CSI sought to obtain water from any other location and bring it down by one or more different alternatives.
Objection. The question was just asked and answered.
I do not recall. I don't recall having done so, is what I should have said.
And I don't mean just with CSI, but I mean with SNWA. Any other efforts that CSI has undertaken since 2020 through the present day to attempt to acquire or bring other water to service the master plan community?
Not the, no. The Southern Nevada Water Authority was telling us, no, they weren't really giving us proposals. We took this to be, we cannot go out and build a municipal level pipeline. SNWA told us, no, we're not going to help you. Go figure it out yourselves. We had understood they were saying, we'll help you do it. And then they said, no, we won't. So no, that wasn't something that we as a builder developer were going to pursue.
Do you remember when we looked at the 5918 ruling, that ruling that allowed the Tuffy Ranch water from Lake Valley of 11,400 acre feet to be essentially the point of diversion to be moved into Lincoln County from Lake Valley?
Yes, I recall 5918.
Do you remember that language in 5918 and the accompanying other records, including the closing brief that said, even if SMWA doesn't build the pipeline, we can?
I believe that was something that Mr. Whittemore may have been quoted as saying. We would have to pull it up and look at it. I thought that was a quote from Mr. Whittemore at a hearing.
And Mr. Ware, Paul,
I
I'm sorry, Mr.
of Ware Road.
don't,
Or just objection, foundation without seeing the transcript of the rest.
Sustained.
Just asking if you recall.
I do
And
not.
we do recall Mr. Whittemore saying words of black effect, but I'll be happy to show you the transcript and the closing brief and the order itself. I'm just other than not getting an agreement with SNWA, just so that I have a clear record. CSI hasn't made any effort at all to bring water to the location from any other source of water.
no.
Objection, foundation.
Sustained.
As the COO and general counsel,
Your Honor, you sustained my foundation question, so could I have the answer then previously provided by the witness stricken if in fact
So
there is no thing that foundation? Thank you.
foundation is the COO and general counsel for CSI, and I think even for Wing Building. Or do you have any understanding as to whether or not CSI in from 2020 to the present date has made any effort to obtain and deliver water from any other source to service the master plan?
Same objection, foundation.
Asking her as COO, the chief operating officer of this entity.
overruled.
I have not.
You know, foundation, and anybody other than you in any capacity on behalf of CSI has done so.
I do not know.
As CSI or its affiliated entity still owns the 11,440 acre feet of water in Tuffy Ranch local, or that Nevada ranch is correct.
I'm not sure where you got your number. I think it's 11,300 acre feet, although I stand to be corrected.
Well, let's not, we'll find something else to argue about, but that 11,000 plus acre feet still owns it.
Blue Mountain Ranches of Nevada LLC owns it, yes, and that's one of our entities.
Just I ever attempted to trade that water for any other water, any decreed rights on the Muddy River?
I have not.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the efforts to purchase the water from the Church of Latter-day Saints. We had some discussion briefly about CSI's efforts to acquire senior rights. When I say senior, I mean senior statutory rights in Basin 219. You recall that discussion?
I don't recall, Mr. Sylvester, if we've talked about the Church of Latter-day Saints during this trial, you and I, or if that was during my deposition.
Let's recess until 3:20. All rise.
Well, that's getting interesting. These are the Latter-day Saints right there. Let me go ahead and pop that down so I can get ready for these afternoon notes. How are you doing today? It's good to see each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to W4Nevada Live's coverage, Day 8, the afternoon continuing coverage of Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. My name is Matthew Winterhawk. Thank you for tuning in. We do have to get these notes out for the afternoon. It looks like we'll be back recess until 3:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Currently putting together an update as we do for the afternoon. And I hope each and every one of you are having a wonderful day. Today is what, Tuesday, August 11th. I've still got a little work to do today as well. Outside running around, but until this wraps, I can't leave it. So he said resume at 3:20. Is that what he said? Yeah, 3:20. 20 after. Let's get this out. All right. So I put out updates during the recess, morning recess, lunch, afternoon recess, and a day wrap. I try to keep everybody updated on this case. I know that not everybody understands what it's about. It's a $1.5 billion damages and takings claim that Coyote Springs LLC is seeking against the state of Nevada for development and projects and speculation throughout their history of owning the land and water rights that they've owned, not to be able to develop their golf course, community village, Coyote Springs, which is located in between Clark and Lincoln counties, and never came to fruition. Yet here we are all these years later trying to set precedent that a corporation can sue Nevadans and claw back money on a commoditized value that was never brought to fruition because the basins could not sustain it, and rulings, the Nevada state engineer and science that had evolved and continued to evolve as the years went by from 1998, I believe, to now, from the MX Missile project, from the Aerojet and different products there. There is so much going on with this case. To wrap it all up in one note would be incredibly difficult. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm putting together this update for today to where we are before we get to this evening's wrap up. And you'll get to see that in just a minute. So that's what I'm working on in the background. But do enjoy. We'll be back at 3:20. Be right back. Enjoy the music. Have a great day.
We're not just Vegas, you're not. Read the whole map, read it. Lights don't run the state, no they don't. That's a small cap, small cap. We're not just Vegas, look around. Past the neon haze, past it. 17 counties, all of them. Different lives, same place, same soil, same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something, where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting, where work don't trend and patience is learned, where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boots, dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way, no way. That service talk, surface, surface. Real Nevada, out here, outside the walk, outside, outside. This land where the sky feel heavy or blue, where the silence louder than the news. Places built bill slow. No rush to impress, where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to feel sad. Nevada ain't one tempo, one look, one lane. It's contrast stitched into the same terrain. We're not just Vegas, past the glare, past it, past it. The state move quiet, steady, everywhere, everywhere, all around, all around. If you move here, welcome, just learn the pace. Respect the ground, don't rush the place. We don't copy cities that couldn't hold. We're not just Vegas, yeah, nah, yeah, no. Read the whole map, read it, read it. Lights don't run the state, no they don't, no they don't. That's a small cap, small cap. No, we're not just Vegas. Look around, look around. The neon haze, past it, past 17 counties, all of them. Different lives, same place, same soil, same soil, same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something, where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting, where work don't trend and patience is learned, where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boost dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way, no way. That's surface talk, surface, surface. Real Nevada, out here, out here. Outside the walk, outside, outside. There's land where the sky feel heavier blue, where the silence louder than the news. Places built slow, no rush to impress, where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to feel sad. Nevada ain't one tempo, one look, one lane. It's contrast stitched into the same terrain. We're not just Vegas, past the glare, past it, past it. Stay move quiet, steady, everywhere, everywhere, all around, all around. If you move here, welcome, just learn the pace. Respect the ground, don't rush the place. We don't copy cities that couldn't hold. We watch, we learn, then we choose what to mold. This state don't need to be louder to matter. Pressure built here long before chatter. Votes cast local, still shift the frame. Power spread wide, that's the game. We don't ask permission to be ourselves. We protect the space between towns and cells. Vegas shine bright, yeah, let it glow. But don't confuse the light with the whole damn show. This is Nevada, wide aware. Not just a strip, a state that care. We're not just Vegas, read the map. Know it, know the name. Know it, know it. 17 counties, all of them. One state, same, same, same. All around, we're not just Vegas. No sir, no sir. Read it right, read it. Nevada, oh Nevada, all Nevada. Day and night, 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 day and night.
Nevada, can we talk for a minute? Not politics, not noise, just home. W4Nevada live, Nevadans talking to Nevadans. I heard a mother down in Clark say something ain't right at the school today. I heard a washer say the water's thin, and nobody tells us where the money went. Out and now they've been raising their hands, asking who keeps selling off the land. Stories watching all those power lines, wondering who pays when the bill comes due this time. We don't need a polished speech, we just need a place to speak. Bring your heart, bring your name, bring the paper with the date. Can we talk Nevada? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, this is us. Real voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Carson City, I can hear you too. Churchill's got a story coming through. Douglas knows what pressure feels like. Elko's still working under big sky nights. Esmeralda, don't you disappear. Eureka, your voice belongs right here. Humboldt, Lincoln Line, every small town still gotta shine. Lion, Mineral, Persian too. White Pine, we ain't forgetting you. 17 counties, one long road. Everybody carrying a different load. If it's water, let's talk about it. If it's school, let's talk about it. If it's budgets, let's talk about it. If it's buried, bring it out. If it's power, let's talk about it. If it's land, let's talk about it. If it's public, don't hide it. Nevada, we're done being quiet. Can we talk Nevada? Can we tell the truth tonight? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, this is us. Real voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Say what you heard, say what you know, say what they try to keep down low. Bring that email, bring that file, bring that agenda they buried a while. Bring that picture, bring that name, bring that question they tried to shame. Rumors are leads, receipts are proof, and we follow the trail till we find the truth. 'Cause they found it. We can talk, Washoe County. We can talk, Lily County. We can talk, Narrow County. We can talk, Hudson City. We can talk, Chuckett County. We can talk, Douglas County. We can talk, Lyon County. We can talk, Story County. We can talk, Humboldt County. We can talk, Riga County. We can talk, Riga County. We can talk, Esmeralda County. One Nevada dream. Can we talk Nevada? Can we tell the truth tonight? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, this is us. Real voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Nevada, pick up the phone. This is your county, this is your home. W4Nevada live. Nevadans, talk to Nevada.
Please be seated, back on the record. Witnesses retaking the stand and you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Cargill, we were, I think, transitioning into the attempt by CSI to acquire the some or all of the water rights held by the Church of Latter-day Saints. You recall how we started that conversation before the break?
Yes,
And in fact, at some point in the negotiations or the discussions, there was a letter of intent that was provided to the Church of Latter-day Saints.
yes. I don't recall if they provided it to us or we provided it to them as I sit here right now.
And if, Brendan, if you bring up proposed exhibit 3760. This is correspondence dated June 15th, 2021. And it appears to be signed by you as the Chief Operating Officer and General Counsel and Senior Vice President. Is that your signature on the second page?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and this is orient you in time, June 15th, 2020, on the continuing we've been discussing. For what purpose are you seeking to acquire, but let me back up and withdraw. Do you know what water rights the church held at the time?
It says in the second paragraph, 2,300 acre feet.
And from a seniority standpoint, did you understand that those were set inside the decreed rights? Some of the most senior rights in the down gradient basin 219.
Yes, I was only looking at the church's water rights in 219.
And you wanted to buy those water rights if you could, because they enjoyed that seniority status. Is that accurate?
Yes, I have to say, I think that this, I don't remember if this was the first time I had spoken. I thought I had spoken to Mr. Cooper prior to this date because someone reached out to me and asked if we would be interested in purchasing. Paul Hemanowski reached out to me and asked me if he could share my name with the church, with someone from the Church of Latter-day Saints regarding the purchase of water rights. And I told Mr. Hemanowski, yes. And that's my memory of it. And then I really thought I had met Mr. Cooper and maybe Mr. Cooper and Mr. Clegg prior to this date, but dates are all a bit mushed together.
It's fair to say that you were attempting to acquire these rights in your continuing effort to develop the master plan community.
Given that at this point, the state engineer had taken our water rights and we were going to be unable to use our base permit rights as you and I have identified them. Yes, that would be something that we might have been looking to do.
All right, and this is your correspondence, and it says, thank you for meeting with me at Coyote Springs on June 3rd, following the public workshop hosted by the Nevada State Engineer. Does that orient you with respect to the meeting that you had with them, with either Mr. Cooper or Mr. Clegg or both?
I know that's exactly what it says, and I honestly do not remember meeting with them at Coyote Springs in June of 2021, but I wouldn't have written it if it hadn't been a fact.
Okay. Then it's in the second paragraph, if you would read into the record, please.
Mr. Albert D. Sino Jr., owner of CSI, is interested in pursuing a formal discussion with the church to purchase all or some of the church's 2,300 acre feet of LWRFS water rights. As I mentioned during our meeting, CSI is amenable to a lease to purchase subject to, among other matters, changes to points of diversion and place of and manner of use.
Okay, that point of diversion of the rights that the church held was in Basin 219. You recall that?
That is my recollection.
And then if you would just read the next paragraph into the record, please.
The Coyote Springs community in Clark County contains 6,881 acres of developable land subject to a development agreement entitling CSI to build up to 49,600 residential units along with 2,000 acres of non-residential development, and in Lincoln County, another 21,454 acres of development property, subject to a development agreement entitling CSI to build up to 110,000 residential units and up to 9,000 acres of non-residential development. Attached is a plat depicting these basic development facts for your reference.
And if we just turn to 003, is that the relevant plat that you described in your letter?
Yes, it would be.
And you're describing the entire master plan community, both including Clark County and Lincoln County for Mr. Cooper and Mr. Clay.
I was describing what I just read, yes.
Okay. The next page, first paragraph, please. If you read it in.
CSI's interest in the church's LWRFS water rights is to further CSI's development of Coyote Springs Master Plan community. CSI would use the church's water rights and support subdivision maps and building of homes to start the Coyote Springs community.
Okay. So you're still continuing to pursue potential development of the master plans community. Is that accurate as of the date, June 16, 2021?
The letter has two different dates on it, doesn't it? The first page says June 15 and the header on the second page says June 16. I would say what I said a few minutes ago, which was since the state had at this point made it clear that we could not use any of the 4140 from the base permit. And since I had been told the church was interested in talking to us about selling the water rights, yes, we were talking to them.
I would offer state's proposed exhibit 3760, please.
No objection, Your Honor.
Admitted.
And turn, Brandon, if you will, to 3766, state's proposed exhibit 3766. And at page 0004, an email from, it looks like from you to Mr. Grant Cooper. And who was Mr. Cooper at the time?
Mr. Cooper was, I don't remember his exact position. He was in like the real estate development acquisitions department, and he was transitioning his role to Mr. Jonathan Clegg at the time, because Mr. Cooper was on the cusp of retiring, as I recall.
Okay. And as of that date, at the bottom of the page, it says, we approach this, it says, please find attached confidential draft letter of intent regarding Coyote Springs' interest in purchasing water from the church. It says, we approach this draft, as Mr. Sino described to you during our August 24th, 2021 meeting, at a price toward the top end of the price per acre foot that you reasoned was applicable for this region. Do you recall having that meeting and then ultimately attempting to make an offer at what is described as the price toward the top end of the price per acre foot?
Yes.
And do you know if sitting here today, what or how you derived that proposed price toward the top end of the price per acre foot?
I believe, and the letter says that it was a price that they reasoned was applicable for the region. So I believe we chose a number that was at their top end that they reasoned to us. And can I just say one quick thing, Mr. Sylvester? I don't know how it applies because now that we're in trial, but this was all confidential and I don't know, can it remain confidential if we're going to get into what the dollar amounts were? Because we had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with the church.
I think that time has passed in as much as these are being live streamed. And so I don't think the confidentiality provision survives the commencement of the trial. It hasn't been designated as confidential for the purposes of this trial.
Well, Your Honor, I would just like to be heard on that. If council is considering getting into specific dollar amounts, we would ask to be able to go into at least a confidential portion of the trial, so that those documents and that information was not shared.
I agree.
Okay, then
This email was marked confidential as well, under the protective order in this case.
every document is essentially marked confidential, as we've seen throughout the course of this trial. So I don't know how they pick and choose, but I frankly don't have any, you want to disconnect Zoom. Makes no difference to me.
Yeah, Your Honor, we'd like to go into a confidential setting so that these figures can be discussed and my client can continue to keep their contractual obligation to the church.
So ordered.
Well, there you go. That's kind of wild when you look at it. Hutchison moved to move the video and audio coverage to confidential, specifically when it came in regards to the Latter-day Saints. So the video feed has come back up
I will
now.
be happy to
We'll see what happens here.
designate that portion.
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like if I read the correspondence correctly, the on 0002, looks like there's a response from Jonathan Clegg, and that's dated December 15th, 2021. Do you see that at the top of the page, Ms. Cargill?
Yes, I do.
And then it says attaches a formal response to your October letter of interest. The sale of the church's Moapa Warm Springs water rights is a challenging and complex matter. While we'd like to move forward as quickly as possible, there are many other considerations for us. We've been working through these as quickly as possible, given recent staffing changes. Merry Christmas, so on and so forth at the end. Then at 001, it's your correspondence of February 1st, 2022. And this is temporally after the 1309 ruling has been entered, which I think you can agree was the June 2020 time period.
Yes, I agree with your timeline.
And you say, I am following up with you regarding the purchase of water. We remain very interested in purchasing as much as you're willing to sell water from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as to sell us that has priority older than our existing rights. And if you would just read the next paragraph into the record.
As we've discussed, Mr. Sino would like to move forward so he can proceed with the development of Coyote Springs and waiting for a future date depending on the transaction agreed to and what the Nevada State Engineer and the manager of the Coyote Springs Water Resources General Improvement District would agree to could work, but that would be a fact-based inquiry we would need to jointly work together to achieve.
And then the next exhibit, which is 3767, which will disclose the price per acre foot.
If it does disclose the price, you know, just ask that we go into a confidential portion of the trial. Thank you for.
This will be the second time now that we've gone into a confidential section where they cut the feed, they cut the audio. I assume it will return. Something, you know, this Mark Hutchison is failing here because he wants it to be confidential. However, these records that they're referencing are public records. This is the public's case. This is regarding the public and suing the state of Nevada, which is the public. The water and or the natural resource belongs to the public. So I will be definitely digging into the Latter-day Saints water rights and sales and deeds and conveyances to whoever. That seems to be a large thing I need to look into. So thank you for that lead, Mark Hutchison. I'll be looking into the Latter-day Saints, and hopefully we'll resume very soon here with the unconfidential information. It's like being redacted, live streaming. As soon as they come back, we will bring it to the video feed and audio feed. But currently, I don't want you sitting there with just nothing and no audio going on. So just give me a moment while they wrap up whatever confidential session about the LDS Church's water rights that Mark Hutchison wanted us to not be able to hear and or see.
Yeah. Yeah. Nevada. Yeah. Yeah, pull up on Nevada, feel it. Bet the ground shake when we move. Hot as it hit like sunlight. State flag wave when we cruise. Build it from the dust up. They doubt us, now they copy the groove. County by county, we solid. Same spine, different views. Made it out the hard way. Long roads, no silver spoon. Sign my name on real things. Step off planes to open skies and moons. Locked in, don't ask me about the clout talk. I might just stare at you. Locked in, don't ask me about the clout talk. I might embarrass you. Stand tall and warm boots on cold stone. Holding ground steady, make them fold slow. Sunset gold match the snow tone. No front end, just stay home. Lay a lamp for sagebrush to railroads. They say they know us, but they don't though. Run laps around the talk shows. Hear our name echo in town halls. Yo, Nevada, where you been at? Everywhere still working hard. 2-lane nights, wide open days. Long miles in every yard. Quick to stand up for the land. Don't push us, don't get me started. Locked in with the neighbors and locals. We keep it guarded. Everything I wear got dust on it. That mean it's activated. I was quiet when they slept on us. Now they act like they made it. Independent, proud and grounded. That's the state reputation. On top of the map for a reason. They try to underestimate it. They know this place authentic. Yeah, we live the truth. Stop over talking, show up, see what presents do. Standing on business in plain boots. Before I let this place get reshaped, I'll defend rules. Stand tall and warm boots on cold stone. Holding ground steady, make them fold slow. Sunset gold match snow tones. No front end, they stay home. Lay a lamp for sagebrush to railroads. They say they know us, but they don't though. Run laps around the talk shows. Hear our name echo in town halls. Vegas shine, that's the stage. But baby, we're more than the glow. From Carson City to the back roads, we got that old state soul. Churchill ride, clock keep moving. Douglas wind through the pines. Elko sky, Esmeralda dreaming. Every mile got a line. Hear that name roll slow, like a river through the sand. One state, one home, in every county band. We're Nevada, baby, Nevada all the way. We're Nevada, baby, from the night to the day. Carson City, we're Nevada, baby, Nevada all the way. Eureka Gold and Humboldt rivers.
Going back to that sound corridor, I forgot to ask you a question. Do you know if any of those planes that we looked at were carrying or could carry live ordinances through the Sally corridor?
My answer's two-part. One, I don't know how to look at any sort of aircraft and determine even what it is, short of saying it's a plane or a helicopter, Mr. Sylvester. And two, the live ordnance corridor does not go above Coyote Springs in that area. It goes to the east or the west, if I remember the maps correctly.
Just so I understand your testimony, I think I do, that there's a different live ordinance corridor that's different than the Sally corridor with respect to military planes using or carrying live ordinances over Coyote Springs.
That's my understanding from reading documents and being a part of various other things and speaking to people at the base. But as I said, other than saying it's a helicopter or it's a jet or a plane of some sort, even then, there's probably aircraft that I would call a helicopter and someone else would tell me wasn't a helicopter, so.
I'll talk to you, shifting gears now to the agreements by and between Coyote Springs and Estuary. Okay,
Okay,
you know what estuary is?
yes, and I would say that I have a non-disclosure agreement with Estuary and I'm not comfortable discussing that.
We're gonna discuss it. The question is whether we're gonna discuss it in the context of the public review of the documents.
Your Honor, I would just ask that if we are going to go into that line of questioning, that we do go back into a confidential session for this testimony.
My question to council is whether it's all or a portion or just price related.
Do you mind if I have just a discussion with my client on that? Your Honor? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Singing Fernquist, do you have everyone else? So who do I know who's? So
John
we got
Savage.
Robert,
Yeah, John Savage.
John Savage. Owen Flower is with us as well.
Okay. So who should I, right here, who should I check?
Greg Cloud, Greg Sylvester, John Savage, Laura Fitzsimmons, Rob Fernquist. Jordan, sorry, Jack Jordan. That's it.
So the court has requested and opened breakout rooms, separating us from the actual courtroom from whatever it is that they're going over. Before he got into it, he mentioned estuary. She stated she had an NDA and that she didn't want to talk about it and or did not feel comfortable about discussing that agreement. So now I have another lead, Amelia Cargill, estuary. That'll be something else that I run down. And then I make sure that we follow up with that. Right now I'm in the background pulling up Church of Latter-day Saints water rights, which it's really odd the way it's structured. You can look into Church of Latter-day Saints, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Corporation of the Presiding Bishop, or Corporation of the Presiding Bishop of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I know that's wild, right? But there are that many different things that I have to search in order to find just the basis of understanding how many different water rights are retained by the church. There is a landmark agreement you can look back in July 22nd, 2024 that was written about in Mesa Valley's progress between SNOA or Southern Nevada Water Authority and Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints joined in a landmark agreement on July 18th, 2024 to ensure long water security for the Moapa Valley community. Will acquire $2,329, or excuse me, 2,329.55 acre feet annually. Some of the most senior and secure groundwater rights in the Warm Springs area for the church, a total of $6 million. To finance the purchase, MVWD is utilizing two sources of funding. The Moapa Valley Water District is what MVWD is. $3 million state grant program and a $3 million 0% interest loan from SNOA. So they were taking a loan out from Southern Nevada Water Authority, taking a loan and or grant from the state, which would be money that was allotted from taxpayers into a program for spending and or possibly federal subsidy into a program for spending. But here's either way, they were able to get $3 million to purchase water rights from Moapa Valley Water District. In that agreement, that's just one. And you're talking about, it is insane. $6 million is low. If agricultural right now, you're seeing people selling water for $20,000 an acre foot, that would have been worth well over $46 million. And they got $6 million. So a lack and or difference of 40 million by what I'm looking at for today's pricing. That's a $40 million deficit. Like they've literally over the course of years have turned water as a commoditized, appreciating asset, not depreciating. That's insane. Water is worth more than the homes or the land that the home is built on. That's insane. We have got to fix this, or we will always be marginalized. We will always be leveraged against water. We will always be fighting against corporations. This case is so massive for what it's uncovering and what I'm able to move forward with in these different counties. I mean, you got a lot of trouble out there. If you're holding a permit right now, I'm going to be organizing every permit holder in this state to protest every corporation that has water rights, no matter the priority date or not, because we're going to go back at this. There has to be something to be said about it being truly used for beneficial use versus what they've been doing is commoditizing, selling, and like this is why your rates go up. This is why water rates change. This is why this is insane. And you've got a small handful of people that literally have control of your natural resources, the public's natural resources, whether it's gas, water, and now a grid of electricity that we've built and or are building and rebuilding now, which they're just going to hand over to data centers and different mining operations and different people to use, whereas you and I are going to be footing the bill for rate hikes, rate charges, different. This is insane. Everything is off the backs of the American people and my fellow Nevadans specifically for what we're covering here inside of the state of Nevada. There's no other way to put it. And it's very easy to explain. And you could go like, okay, here's this, and here's this developer, and this developer got this water right. This water right turned into a GID or a General Improvement District or a water district, and then that water district turn around and charge this, and then they have a nonprofit like Southern Nevada Water Authority is attached to Las Vegas Valley Water District, and you've got this other Central Nevada Water Authority attached to another water company, and Truckee Meadow Water Authority. Like they took this mold and they just like, we got this figured out. This is how we take billions of dollars, take all the public resources and sell it back to the people at an exponential rate. But if you look at your water bill, I think my water bill was $8, the water bill. Now the fees from Southern Nevada Water Authority and the delivery charges and the nonsense and that we got to pay this, we got to do that. Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat. Yeah, anyways, all that extra dumb shit that's in the bill, that is where these water authorities and these weird corporations are like just making millions of dollars. Look, dude, 2.5 million people. Not all of them are water recipients. Let's say 1.5. Let's just go half. Although 1.25. So 125,000. Okay? 1,250,000 residents inside of Clark County. That's only half of what's on paper. Now, times that by just $16, bro. Okay? That's just their little fees and their delivery charge. And Southern Nevada Water Authority is making this on a minimum scale. This is like the smallest scale that Southern Nevada Water Authority is making $20 million a month on fees. $20 million a month on fees every month. If you times that by 12, they're making a minimum every year, $240 million. Southern Nevada Water Authority off of Nevadans, off of Clark County residents, off of $240 million. What could we do with $240 million? Well, we damn sure wouldn't have to build a massive building that says Southern Nevada Water Authority and then have Las Vegas Valley Water District and the county trying to get out of these agreements, but we have billions of dollars in debt through Southern Nevada Water Authority, so we're somehow tied to their agreements because they themselves are the entity that holds the water permits. How about we just hit reset on monopoly, guys? I'm done with this game. Just yank all these. If it's a corporation that's holding it or a 501c, if it's not a person and it's not an allotment that's for a well, just yank it. Just yank that shit. Yank it. Pull that rug right from underneath all them bastards and go right back to, you know what, I would employ 17 people minimum that would go door to door to door to door to door to every one of these corporations that has it and be like, let me see your meter. Let me check the impeller size. Let me check this. How much have you done? Oh, you overpumped. Oh man, you're going to prison if you don't get these fines paid. Who's it due to? The county that you robbed it, the basin, the owners, the people, the public. Not you, the crap ass corporation who decided to go behind everybody and somehow make $1 million deals with the Mormon Church, with the federal government after a Florida Nevada Land Exchange Act and an MX missile project and an Aerojet for making jet fuel. Like, how many things need to be in front of you for you to understand that the people, us, Nevadans, Americans, are leveraged by corporations? And then they're catering to the corporation when all we need to do is take the state engineer, who's also compromised, by the way, Joe Cacioppo, I've already showed you 1,000 different times. So the fact that Lombardo put that Jack Wang in there is exactly why we're kind of in a rock and a hard place. Because if it was Jason King or Adam Sullivan, we'd probably be in a hell of a lot better place than where we are right now. And I know a lot of people don't like Jason King, and they don't like the decisions he made. Tough titty said the kitty, but the milk ran dry. Okay? Here's the thing. I don't like a lot of people, but sometimes they make the best decision based on what happened was those decisions did save one side of it. However, they'd like to say that one engineer or the other might have been advantageous for a solar farm over the CSI property, right? I'm not here to debate whether or not they are or aren't. What I can tell you is many of these state engineers have seemed to give off certain benefit to certain companies. However, I could say that all the way up to Adam Sullivan. And when I looked at the Sullivan decision, people were pissed, man. They don't like the Sullivan decisions. They went at it, they sued, but the fact of the matter is the science had evolved and it was correct. The Sullivan decision still remains, in my opinion, as a conservationist, a great decision. It states that you can't pull from here no matter what's on your paper if it affects over here. That's pretty simple logic, ladies and gentlemen. I should not be able to pour 500 acre feet onto my ground and just waste it and then watch everyone else be out of water. Does that, okay? Beneficial use. I'm wasting it, but I got the oldest rights. I'm senior vested. I'm decreed. No. None of that makes any sense. How in the hell are you going to have everyone else downstream suffer, not have drinking water, not have bathing water, not have effluent water, not have, do you understand? And then they're able to commoditize it, make the money, and then who are they making the money off of? If it's a subsidized federal grant program and or a church that runs through a 501c3 and takes tithings from the people who attend said church and then buys water rights that are worth millions of dollars, then trades for the millions of dollars to put personal private equity back into their church from a 501c3. You got to start looking at the whole picture, folks. Here's what I'm saying. If you touch water in the state of Nevada, I'm going to be at your door one way or another, in your email, protesting, educating your neighbors, your fellow Nevadans and Americans. You are in the biggest trouble you've ever been in your entire life. What this case and the years of research and the time that I put into understanding our natural resources and how they're administered and how they're charged and how they're developed and how I cannot explain to you the amount of understanding that I have, which is why I ran for governor of the state, because I had meant to set things straight for 17 counties for the people that depend on it, not the corporations that have carved it up for 162 years. I can't go back in time and make myself be the governor, and I feel like I've become more valuable as an individual that can genuinely grab these transparency and accountability through documents in 17 counties with commissioners, city council members, state executives, assemblies, senate, judges, representatives, you name it. This is what I'm born to do. They may not like me, but that's okay. I don't like them either. The elected and appointed officials that literally forsake my fellow Nevadans, my fellow Americans, my fellow humans. Because at the end of the day, for me, there's only one race, the human race. I'm here to leave this world a better place than it was when I got here. And if that's what you're here to do, well, then you're probably not going to face much resistance and or fight or have a problem with me. You may not like the way in which I deliver it sometimes, and I may be a little abrasive. But the end goal is to make sure that my people are taken care of and their future generations. Indigenous says 7. I say 70. I want everyone taken care of for the future. Because it's not about us inheriting these lands. It's about us borrowing it from our children. And whether you have children or your sister or brother or somebody does that's close to you, your name, your legacy, your lineage, your heritage, cultural, whether by DNA or otherwise, is being left to move forward. Your time, my time, people in my age range. I don't have that selfishness in me. I'm not out here for me. I run an organization, $0. I don't ask for donations. I don't solicit. I'm genuinely here to serve. Someone got me up every day since March of 2024 and said, a life of service is a life worth living. I am ready to serve. That's it. And I heard that every day. And I've been doing that every day since then. I don't know what to tell you. It's a bigger goal than what I had ever imagined. I always thought I was just going to work for myself and build myself and my children and my wife's lives. But instead, I chose a bigger path to make sure that everyone benefits and not carry the cost, but always carry the burden personally. Do you understand? Here we are, still waiting. As you can see, I'm staring at Kathy Blackheart, and then we got John Naylor, Tamara, Shay. We got some people in here that we all got moved out of the room. It's pretty dang close, 4 o'clock, 4:07. I wonder if we'll even get back into session before the court day ends, but hopefully tomorrow we'll open up without it being in a confidential session because they're discussing these water rights and estuary, which I really need to look up. What is estuary? Now that's really got me. You've got my my interest peaked. Estuary. Amelia Cargill, an estuary. Isn't estuary like a bird sanctuary? I don't know. What's an estuary? I'm just messing with you. Estuary. It's a coastal area where fresh water from rivers and streams joins and mixes with salt water from the ocean, creating a sheltered body of brackish water. An estuary. But I imagine there's a company called Estuary or something. I don't assume that there was a specific, unless of course she's the legal representative for the EPA. That would be wild. Once again, that's speculation. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., we will resume. I think we will chop coverage for now, unless they come back, and if they do, you'll see an update. But it is what it is. It's 4:08 p.m., and we will wrap coverage for the day. And then we will move back to be here tomorrow, 9 a.m. I thank you again for joining into the coverage. Day 8, Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. This is W4Nevada Live. My name is Matthew Winterhawk, and it's been a great day. Got a lot of work done. And remember, we're not just Vegas. Read the whole map, okay? Do that for me out there.
We're not just Vegas, you're not. Read the whole map, read it. Lights don't run the state, no they don't. That's a small cap, small cap. We're not just Vegas, look around. Past the neon haze, past it. 17 counties, all of them. Different lives, same place, same soil, same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something. Where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting. Where work don't trend and patience is learned. Where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boots, dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way, no way. That service talk, surface, surface. Real Nevada, out here, outside the walk, outside, outside. This land where the sky feel heavy or blue. Where the silence louder than the news. Place places built slow, no rush to impress. Where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to feel said. Nevada ain't one tempo, one look, one lane. It's contrast stitched into the same terrain. We're not just Vegas, past the glare, past it, past it. The state move quiet, steady, everywhere, everywhere, all around, all around. If you move here, welcome, just learn the pace. Respect the ground, don't rush the place. We don't copy cities that couldn't hold. We're not just Vegas, yeah, nah. Yeah, no. Read the whole map, read it, read it. Lights don't run the state, no they don't, no they don't. That's a small cap, small cap. No, we're not just Vegas. Look around, look around. The neon haze, past it, past 17 counties, all of them. Different lives, same place, same soil, same soil, same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something, where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting, where work don't trend and patience is learned, where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boost dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way, no way. That's surface talk, surface, surface. Real Nevada, out here, out here. Outside the walk, outside, outside. There's land where the sky feel heavier blue, where the silence louder than the news. Places built slow, no rush to impress, where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to